Hello, Sipai.
Hi.
So I am Lela Watson, and we are sitting here chatting, mother daughter journey, as we are planning our first walk for youth mental health awareness on May 17th at Glen Cove High School. We figured it was a perfect time to have this conversation, a conversation that's deeply personal, but also incredibly important. We're sharing a journey of struggle, healing, and action. Nothing prepares you for when your child wants to die. It was a late night, early morning when I saw a note on our kitchen counter alongside an empty bottle of pills. I ran upstairs in her room and I began to shake her. And I shook her for maybe a minute or two, but it felt like a lifetime. When she answered, my heart sank. That is when my journey as a parent with a child battling mental health began. That is when the journey started. However, I would shortly find out that it was not the beginning of my daughter's journey. So let me introduce you to my beautiful, resilient, strong daughter, Sydney. Now, I will tell you that I'm sure that during this episode, you will hear me call her Sid Pie because it's just that's just what it is. So I figured I'll let everybody know ahead of time that this is my Sid Pie. So, Sydney, how are you feeling about having this conversation today?
Nervous, very nervous. I haven't talked about what I've went through in like so long. So to be able to speak about it today is nerve-wracking, but still really exciting.
I know you're 21 now. That happened when you were 14. So it's been some time. I appreciate you agreeing to talk about it again. I promise that we'll make it comfortable. I appreciate you being vulnerable. Um, I know it's not an easy topic to talk about. So, yeah.
No problem.
So let's chat a little bit. So, what put you there? Like, not necessarily the actions, but um, what was going on in your thought process that put you in a place where you thought that you had no other option but to commit suicide or try to commit suicide?
I feel like growing up, there was a huge expectation, not just for me to be happy, but almost to be perfect in school and in like sports and grades and everything like that. So I felt like my life was just like over. I was I didn't know anything else to do. I was thinking college, is out the window, then if it's not college, then what is there? It's not really if I'm not perfect and that expectation is out the window, what else really is there?
I remember when you first said that, right? As a parent, it made you think back to that time, and I would agree. I looked at each of the kids, you and your sisters as, "Oh, okay, so Kayla is the creative one and Autumn is the temperamental one sometime, but you were the bubbly, happy one." And I didn't realize that I was attaching um, that expectation to you that you didn't feel like you could be anything other than that. That's a lot of pressure. So when you mess up or if there's a situation that arises, you think that there's going to be a level of disappointment so that your life is over. It was a journey 4 times in and out of the hospital. I remember going to the hospital and only being able to see you certain hours and I was awake for your phone call. What was it like during that time?
Well, Going into the hospital, you're automatically just put into a place with several other girls going through their own different emotions, different personalities for several weeks. As I stayed there, I realized that even though we're all going through something different, we were all able to go through it together. And it was a place with no judgment. It was a place that I was able to learn a lot about myself and that I was holding in a lot of things that I felt like I couldn't talk about or like open up about. Even the small things, just being angry at just the smallest things. I felt like I had to bottle every single one of those negative emotions up. So being able to let that out and understand what was actually happening with my emotions was a very enlightening experience.
I remember when he gave me the diagnosis for you that it was anxiety and depression. It hit home. I mean, the one thing that you and I always joke about is that you get everything from me, right? And I was not expecting that you would also get depression from me, because I battled it when I was a teenager, going through the issues with my mom, drugs, and, not wanting to disappoint grandma and the family because they have sacrificed so much for me. And so I understand. And, when you guys are growing up, you want the very best for your kids. And so you think that I'm pushing them to get good grades because I want them to know that they're capable of doing that. I don't want you guys to have a life that was like mine. Not that I didn't have a great life, I was blessed, but I wanted the very best for you. So I didn't realize that the level of pressure was putting you in a box. And for you, you were always the creative one in terms of eclectic, the one that had on her cowboy boots and a sundress and, and a church jacket going out. And, I always thought by allowing you to be free to express yourself, even though I really did think that the school social workers were going to call because of if you're allowing you to feel like that. But I thought that that was part of me allowing you to be free and, allowing you to come and talk about whatever was challenging, you with your life. But I soon found out that that was not the case. And I'm sorry, that you felt that way. So let me ask you, where are you now? Like, where are you with your mental health journey now?
I still go through my funks and my mood swings, and I'm still learning a lot about myself in every situation that comes towards me. But now I've realized that no matter what I go through, everything is temporary. All the negative emotions and negative feelings that you're going through are temporary and they will pass as long as you don't sit there. So I really just live in the now and knowing that everything is going to be okay in the end is what really just drives me to, okay, this is just right now. Let's move on.
It reminds me of some of my, analogies,
Mhm.
101 the analogies that every emotion is normal, right? So whether it's happy and happy or sad or frustrated or angry, that you can visit them all, just don't empathize stay there, right? So I appreciate that you're kind of living by that, understanding that it's all natural. I will tell you that um what's the movie? The Emoji Movie is still.
Oh my goodness. It's such a good movie.
It really is. But I'm telling you, I remember when you were in the hospital and we watched it there. I was in tears and people probably looking at me like I'm crazy, but it illustrated everything that I was thinking. It's okay to not just be who people want you to be. And in an end, It's going to be your ability to grow and learn and feel and experience that's going to make you a better person that and what we say in the world, but it's it's still in a lot of ways it's just what you needed and I needed to see it. Right. So I know that what's one of your favorite analogies that I've given you?
I think it's the cotton ball one where if you keep on stuffing all the cotton balls in the jar and trying to put the lid on, eventually when you take that lid off, the pressure just makes all the cotton balls explode. So, always packing in your feelings and then closing the jar instead of, working through it, eventually it's going to explode.
I have forgotten about that analogy. Very cool.
Just commending yourself.
Like, thank you. Pat myself on the back. It was an interesting thing. Like, so all of my analogies are not created by me. Like, I may have heard it somewhere. It kind of bubbles back up at some point, but they come at the right time for the right situations. And
Mhm.
so,
I feel like subconsciously, it comes back to me. It comes back to me in, like, the situations where it needs it the most, and that's when I'll remember, "Okay, you know, mom said this."
so hopefully, we're in a place and where you feel like you can be who you are, and be imperfectly imperfect because we're all perfectly imperfect. And we're all growing and learning and trying to figure out this thing called life. Um, how did you feel when I decided to create a program about mental health?
I knew I was going to be its advocate. I knew that I was like, "Oh, well, time to put on my cap. It's time for me to go help and just, like, be able to talk about what I've been through to help other people," because, like you've always said, the things that we go through isn't just for us.
Yeah, nothing that we go through is for ourselves. And we go through those things in order to be able to help someone else navigate through it so that they can see that they can get through it as well, and that we're able to pour back in. I remember trying to figure out what I could do to help, not just you. At first, I was leery about telling the story about, your depression and your anxiety because I felt like it was your story to tell. I didn't want to take that away from you from whenever you were ready. But then I realized that I had a story as well, that it was just as much my journey as a parent navigating through them, right? Where you have to adjust your life around, supporting your child that's going through their journey and having a house with three other daughters and what that meant for them was still an experience for me, locking up medication, locking up knives and trying to figure out how to cook and you get right in the middle of it and it's like, oh, wait, let me go get a knife out, let me make sure I put it back, and not sleeping, checking on you day in and day out, moment by moment, and almost coddling you, afraid to allow you to live, or to go through things, not wanting you to be upset or compensating for things. So I had a journey as well. And so I wanted to make sure that I was free to also tell my story. It took me a minute to get there, but in Lela fashion, it had to figure out a way to allow it to benefit and be a blessing to others. And the only way that I know to do that is by program development, volunteering, supporting others. And so that's when I decided to do Mind Your Mental. So the Mind Your Mental program is I and my sister's only mental health initiative. And it really is about really creating a safe space to explore and understand and nurture their mental well being In a world where mental health struggles are often stigmatized, it really seeks to empower the young people by offering the sense of community and dialogue and mutual support and access to essential resources. I think that when you started going into therapy, I started to see you grow and you develop when you started to learn coping skills. I remember, what's the one with the bubbles or the balloons or something like that?
Oh, just put the thought in the bubble and imagine it just like floating away and just further and further until you can't think about it anymore.
Right. Or even just the breathing techniques. Those are things that seem so simple, but in those moments, I'm sure that most people don't think about because it doesn't come second nature. It's interesting. So I'm gonna share something with you. Did you know that 1 in 5 young people try to commit suicide? You know, age between the ages of 10 and 17. Like when I think about that, that's why every birthday I get so emotional because I think about the journey and what if you weren't here. So I'm grateful for every birthday, right? Every moment it forces you to stop and be grateful for those little moments. And now that we have the initiative with the organization, now I get to have the conversations with other parents. We get to normalize mental health as just being health. You're part of your health, and wellness, and try to break the stigma that comes with it. You know, Years ago, you used to joke. It's like this, oh, why you act crazy or why this? Is like you got to be mindful because you don't know what people are going through. And anxiety and depression, they're not the only mental health issues and challenges that people go through. There's so many others. And I love being in the space where we're able to talk about it and normalize it. I know that Autumn, see Autumn, Jim, Autumn is your best friend and
Yeah.
sister, you guys are 18 months apart. You're like one and the same.
He just had to be included in this.
He did.
Some type of way.
Of course, of course. But, I think about Autumn and I think about Leah, Kayla was in college at the time, but I think about those moments of sacrifice, where we leave work, go straight to the hospital, come back in. And so they have a journey and a story and how all of it impacted them as well. Because when someone in your family needs some extra love and care, or if they're going through things, it impacts the entire family. And so I love that we hit have these conversations with other young people and parents and the community just to bring awareness to it, to normalize it. I'm super excited about the walk, May 17th, our very first walk for, youth men's health awareness. Um, can we tell a little bit of your story either then?
Maybe.
Listen, I'll take it. It's not a no. It's not a no. So that's gonna be a day where we get to raise money, have fun. It's music, it's community resources, it's yoga and mindfulness. I know we're trying to get like the animals, the dogs. Oh, see. I didn't know it was gonna be something else, so I kind of pull you in. So we let you pet the dog. You going to play, sir?
Bring the dog on stage while I talk.
All right, I think we're trying to do that. All right, we can make that happen. Deal. Deal. But it has been a joy. Let me ask you 2 questions. Ready? First one. Um, what would you tell your younger self?
that it's okay. It's okay to be different. It's okay to feel all of the emotions, whether it's good or it's bad. Nobody is going to judge you for it. You know, it's okay to just feel everything. Like, it's gonna be all right, no matter what.
So that's what you would tell your younger self? Would that be the same message that you would tell other young people?
Well, I wish the question would be like more um together. I feel like those two questions I would want to give my younger self and the others out there, that not only it's okay to feel everything, but whenever you do feel those negative emotions, to not bottle them up and to ask for help, whether it's with someone you trust, family member, a friend, even if you think they might judge you, at least you told someone. Like, telling your emotion, like saying how you feel is better than just not saying it at all. And there's always going to be somebody that's going to want to help. That's going to be there to listen and give you the advice that you need to keep on moving forward.
I remember very quickly. I remember the deal that we had when you were um going through the journey of like getting out the hospital and saying to you, listen, make a deal, which were household deals. So um then you have to let me know you're not okay. Where okay, it's I had this hospital. Not a whole lot of questions asked about it when you were feeling that it was too much, that you needed the extra layer of support. That was the deal. You have to come to me and say, I need to go to the hospital and we'll figure it out from there. And so I love that you're in a healthier space now. As I see the moments, the one thing that I had to learn, and you would think that I would know it because I went through the journey when I was younger. And I would want to encourage anyone that's listening to fully understand is that when someone is feeling down or they're depressed, not everyone can just snap out of it, because sometimes depression comes because of a particular situation that has occurred. But for you, you're clinically depressed. And so there are moments where absolutely nothing is going on and you still have moments of sadness. And it's important for people to know that you just can't snap out of it. So as a mom, we pray together. I hug you through it. And even when I do that, it doesn't always make it go away. But I love how you have learned to navigate through the journey, the process, when whether it was therapy, medication, and then no therapy, no medication, but knowing how to tap into the resources in your family and your faith to really help guide you through those times. But knowing that if you needed therapy, it was there. If you needed medication, again, it was there. If you needed extra layer of support, it was there. If you needed prayer, that was there. So I would just encourage anyone that's listening, anyone that has family, children that's going through the mental health journey, just allow them the space to grow and allow them to go through those moments and love them through. Just love them through it. So in action, what can I do? Is there anything that I can do as a mom, as a support system for you as you continue on your journey?
I remember when I believe it was when I was getting out of the hospital the first time, how I said that I didn't want to live for myself. I couldn't do that. But in the meantime, I was going to live for you. And I eventually, over time, living life and things, I came to you and I was like, I think I'm ready to live for myself now. And and I think that in itself really shows that throughout the whole thing up until not just when I told you that I was ready to live for myself, but still now, you did everything that you were supposed to do. Supported me was there to listen and hold my hand and no matter what, and because of that whole experience we were closer than ever, closer than we were before. So I don't think I have anything that you could do better. I feel like you're doing everything just right.
I appreciate that. Quick shout out to the Cove School District. The love of support that we received from the Glen Cove School District was absolutely amazing at the time. They have the car, that situation made it really difficult for us to give you the support, like be there in every moment. I remember sending Uber money from work, going from Garden City all the way to Antietam. So spending about 60, 70 hours a day for weeks at a time. And when you were going to partial, it's happy to get out and go to the partial program. You were 1 mile outside of the minutes where they would provide the transportation. And I was trying to figure out how I was going to get you there every day and get to work and then pick you up. I was not married to my amazing husband now, but so it was just me and your sisters. And the Glencoe School District provided a bus. You were the only person on that bus, but
Very nice.
they picked you up, they dropped you off, picked you up, brought you home. And it took such a weight off of my shoulders. And you don't expect that a school district would do all of that for one kid. And so I have to say it has been amazing to have that level of support from the school. At the time you were in middle school, 8th grade, but then that level of support carried in even to the high school where, Miss Hudson and Dr. Henry.
Truly gave me room to grow in every way. Didn't exclude me at all, didn't treat me any differently. I was still given that extra support that I may have needed in those just in case moments. But other than that, they supported everything that I wanted to do. It was really like, it made me feel comfortable. Like nothing happened.
So entirely grateful because if you're at that time as a single parent, you can't do everything, you can't be everywhere. But knowing that you have the school district that's there to support you, it made it easier. So I am grateful. So shout out to Glencoe School District. We appreciate you. So any last minute, thoughts, comments?
Always stay in the moment. Always, continue to get to know who you are so that you know the signs. And if you're not feeling okay, then that's when you know it's time to ask for like help.
And as a parent, I think that my reflection and my advice to other parents would be stay in tune, give yourself some grace as well. We are not perfect as parents. We do our very, very best. Stay in tune, stay connected, but allow yourself some grace when you don't do everything just right. If you miss something, allow yourself some grace that you're doing the best that you can. thank you guys so much for listening, allowing us to share. We look forward to seeing you on May 17th at 9 a.m. Meet us at the Glen Cove High School track so that we can walk together, learn together, grow together in this mental health space. And all money will be raised for the Mind Your Mental program so that we can continue to do the work in the community to give our young people the support that they need to be able to tell their stories, to get access to care and the resources that they need. Every child has a journey. I always say that it's defining moments, and we are not defined by just one moment. It's a collective moments that tell our story. So until next time, bye.